We've been clear from the beginning that getting together in groups outside of your household that is not permitted is not allowed. That is why tonight I am authorizing the city to shut off Los Angeles Department of Water and Power Service in the egregious cases in which houses, businesses, and other venues are hosting unpermitted large gatherings.
You know, there is one really great thing about this whole corona outbreak. It's that we get to see who are really just the average American and patriots, and who are the anti-America extremists and wannabe dictators. They took their masks right off and walked right out into the open for us. And at the forefront of this, as well, I would say New York. But second place is definitely my state of California. And I have to do a second take because the first one legitimately pissed me off. I know I said that before, but I'm mostly just exaggerating because I'm having fun. But this one actually made me really mad.
I'm so pissed off!
Well, I'm sure as a lot of you have seen yesterday, or a couple days ago, depending when I finish this, Tyrant Garcetti is now threatening to take away people's water and electricity. So basically, if you do something he doesn't like, if you have a gathering, regardless of the fact that it's completely within your constitutional right. Now think about this. If you told me I can't do this completely innocent action that is a human right, and if you said, oh, if I do it, I will lose my access to water and electricity, and then I'd be like, where you live? And you went, Venezuela, I'd be like, alright. If you said this was California, I would say, what the hell, man? And doing this is, according to the UN, literally a violation of human rights. And this is only meant to hurt people who don't do his demands. Because think about it, in a pandemic where everyone is obsessed with sanitation and cleanliness, what would be the purpose of taking away their water if what you're trying to stop is spreading the virus from the gatherings? Why would you take away the person's fucking water? That doesn't make any sense.
That does not make sense.
It does when you realize he's just trying to hurt those people who he doesn't like. Because I guarantee you this will not apply to rich people and elites. This is only going to apply to what he sees in his eyes as the peasants and undesirables. Because I will guarantee you, if you fly the correct ideology of the California government, you have a big meeting, you have a big gathering, you put BLM signs out there, they're going to keep on driving by. He says he will send the police down there to enforce it. And I wouldn't be surprised if 5 seconds later, we saw the conservative bootlickers come out with Blue Lives Matter, back the blue, while they sit there and shit on your rights. Alright, so let's get into this. CBS reports on this. Los Angeles to shut off water and power to homes hosting large parties or gatherings. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti said on Wednesday that he is authorizing the city to shut off utility service to properties where large gatherings and parties are held. CBS Los Angeles reports, Garcetti said, starting Friday, the Los Angeles City Department of Water and Power will cut off water and power services in egregious cases where unpermitted large parties and gatherings take place. I don't know what egregious means. Look, I know people with law backgrounds. And people like this, when they're vague, when you want to be vague in law, or vague like this, it means you're going to abuse that power. And think about this. You can see this as a threat to kill some people. Think about it. What if you were diabetic with insulin? You got insulin in the fridge. Or grandpa's around and grandma's around and they use oxygen tanks or any sort of life-saving equipment that does require electricity. And son downstairs has a party and they send the police to go, we're going to shut off your water and power. And that will kill grandma and grandpa. Do you really think Garcetti's going to give a shit? No, this boy wants to be North Korea light right now. Look at this. Under the proposal, penalties for large gatherings, doesn't define large again, could include water power shutoff, permit prohibitions, and having certificate of occupancy held or revoked for any large close contact and largely maskless gatherings in direct violation of city emergency orders and county health orders. So in other words, you're not breaking the law, you're just doing something he doesn't like. Now look at this. According to the UN, the United Nations General Assembly explicitly recognized the human right to water and sanitation and acknowledged that clean drinking water and sanitation are essential to the realization of all human rights. And we will jump right over to the Constitution where it says the right of the people to peaceably assemble. So, according to the UN and the Constitution, not only if you don't do what he says, he'll violate your constitutional rights, he will also violate your human rights. These people are insane tyrants. If you've heard of Prop 209, not only that, they're doing this too. They are literally voting to take away civil rights in California. California government, 2 branches voted yes on this. Look at this. A yes vote supports the constitutional amendment to repeal Proposition 209 of 1996, which says the state cannot discriminate or grant preferential treatment to persons on the basis of sex, race, color, ethnicity, or national origin in public employment, public education, and public contracting. Meaning the state of California could fire you on the basis of your race. They could make segregated areas, and that would be okay under the California Constitution because they are voting to repeal this. Why is anybody taking Garcetti seriously? This is the guy during the lockdown where he said, dry areas of sand wouldn't be a good idea to be in during the coronavirus. But the wet sand, that's fine.
You know and I know that I got a monster in that closet hiding in the sand, waiting till nighttime so he can eat and kill me.
You need to get in there and swim? That's fine. The guy's saying if I pour a bucket of water in front of me as I walk to the beach, that's perfectly fine. This dude is absolutely loony, and anybody in California who votes for this loony, you have to be incredibly stupid or uninformed. Despite a pandemic that has killed thousands in Los Angeles, some homeowners are choosing to put everyone at risk by renting out their homes to massive house parties, Rio said. This is irresponsible and bordering on deadly, and it must be stopped. Peaceably assemble. You don't have to have a reason. That's not how this works. You can't do that. You can't come into people's homes and tell them to wear a mask. You cannot do that. If the cops followed through with these threats, because these governors, these mayors, they're treating the police as their own private military. We see them doing this over and over and over. And yet I still see people going out saying, back the blue, they're just being contrarians to BLM. How can you see stories like this every fucking day and go out there and protest for that? I know. Not all. The majority are good. But why instead are you not protesting against the cops violating your constitutional rights? And look at this at the end. They throw this in here for no reason. The proposal comes days after a large house party in the Beverly Crest neighborhood of Los Angeles ended in a shooting that left 1 woman dead and 2 others hospitalized. Police later said the killing was believed to be gang-related. So why is it in this article? That has nothing to do with what you said. Any large and unruly gathering which threatens or interferes with the public health, safety, or welfare is prohibited under city's house party ordinance. Do you understand? You cannot force people to wear the masks. The correct response is to go up there and say, I cannot force you constitutionally to make you wear a mask, but I am asking you to do so as your civic duty. The private businesses are allowed to do it. They're private property. You should do it as your civic duty, but you should draw the line where the government says you have to do it or we'll come after you. That is not okay. You know what? If somebody invites me somewhere, I will go where I want, do what I want on private property, within the rules of the Constitution, and if the cops show up, then fucking arrest me. I will sue the shit out of the city. Freaking Garcetti, man.
Rot in a sack!